Welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Last time we made our way back up from the sewers and we got our way back to the funeral procession where they revealed they were trying to kill us on purpose, and then we also met, what's his name? The priest guy, head of the Doloroso council that Argento wanted to see. Hieronymus, that's his name. We met him for a little bit, and now we're fighting for our life from the funeral procession people, and we'll see what happens. So you're gonna clean up town.
Brings me no pleasure. As honor ordains. Come, the other side awaits. Death comes in silence. Trust me.
Power up my next attack. And then, yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Faith without deeds is worthless. I'll do it. God Emperor, move through me. Be the fire in my heart. As the Emperor commands, none can escape the Emperor's judgment.
Pascal is gonna go here.
As the tactical imperative dictates.
And see if he can take a shot
Request
at.
approved.
Never mind. He keeps doing that every time. Whatever.
Scriptural prognosis is
Make it so it's harder for him to shoot.
My patience has failed me.
Tried and tested tactics are the best ones. It will be
And
done.
then boom. It hurts. The crematorium's gonna have its hands full today. You've stopped shooting. Oh no, Dad. Wonderful. This is a funeral Dens would be proud of. Do I kill them both? No, I don't want to kill them. Treat their wounds. I'm not in a killing mood. Will do. I would ask the esteemed guest to stay a moment longer. We still have an important bit of business to take care of. Are we done with the firing squads? I'd like to finally resolve the matter of Denza's inheritance, and after that, give him a proper send-off. And so, according to the deceased's will, all of Bellardo's fortune goes, not to his worthless son, Cass, not to his brainless mate, Dagon, but to Fidelio, a mysterious new heir. However, I believe a certain party would like to intervene in this process. I still have a question. Who in the name of the Golden Throne is Fidelio? If Fidelio were here, if they were to know about their status as the heir, they would have made themselves known by now. And if it's not you, sir, then I suppose we'll never know the truth. But we can make our own truth, can't we? We're on Footfall. Names and ideas are traded and used here in every way imaginable. And so all that remains is to recognize you as Fidelio. Well, it said the Fidelio, the son is lazy and doesn't do anything and tried to murder me. Dagon's even worse. He's a murderer altogether. At least with me, maybe I can use it for good. Then so be it. As it is written in the will, so be it. I will see that all formalities and make sure you receive the deeds to your property. So much for a life without a care in the world. Adelia, get your things. Your daddy needs a good drink or 5. See? I see. He does not say another word. He just looks at you with a furious look. I'd like to say goodbye to my old friend. The crematorium is a bit wrecked now, heh. But who needs a crematorium? Dens loved having his enemies drenched in promethium and burned. They didn't call him Jerry Can Dens for nothing. I think it'd be a nice gesture to send him on his way in the same fashion. Thankfully, it's easy enough to procure a jerry can of promethium on Footfall. Fitting. Want to stay and watch? Sure. Well, let's get started, I guess.
The Emperor is with us.
That's a lot. And you have a melter? Oh my word. Leather armor. We already have leather armor.
Follow my lead.
We'll take all this. Savatus pattern auto gun. All of these different patterns must have something. Footfall's levels are situated between huge supports resembling scaffolding. It seems a new concept for the interior design was started before the previous one could be implemented.
None shall stand in my way.
There's Hieronymus, however you say his name. More Amber stuff.
I did fine.
This statue undoubtedly depicts Perismus Dwayne, the legendary rogue trader who founded Footfall. The sight of this cogitator would be enough to break any tech priest's heart. The machine is leaning slightly to one side, grimy, covered in scrawled drawings with frivolous writing scratched here and there on the casing. Several keys are missing, and the rest are coated with dust. The right of operation has been repeatedly and blasphemously violated, requesting the identification and punishment of the deplorable acolyte entrusted with caring for the spirit of this machine. I'll try to repair it. After a series of creaks and groans, the cogitator's dusty screen lights up. On it are several lines of text. Section headings. Praise the Omnissiah, the machine spirit of this cogitator is aggrieved but willing to serve. Select welcome. In the name of the founder of Footfall Station, conqueror of the stars, builder of outposts, the noblest rogue trader, Parsimus Dwayne, and on behalf of all his descendants, I welcome you. This cogitator was installed on the order of the illustrious Parsimus, so that the needy may tap into the flow of his wisdom. Cast your eyes upon the list and sections and choose what you wish to know. Parsimus Dwayne, I've never heard of such a rogue trader house. Whoever this Parsimus was, he sure thought big. About Footfall. Footfall Station has been envisioned by the great Parsimus Dwayne as a palace in the stars, as majestic as the spirit and mind of its creator. As of the year of this cogitator's installation, merely a small fraction of the great Parsimus's design has yet been made a reality. But already their audacity and grandeur are staggering. Footfall is to become the gateway to the savage and barely explored Coronis expanse. A foothold for future conquest by the Imperium and the noble Parsimus Dwayne, who acts by the Emperor's will. It tries to shut down. Attempt a emergency repair. The cogitator whirs and the screen turns back on. One of the first structures on Footfall was the colossal statue of the Emperor. A whole asteroid was used for the creation of this sculpture, but even as titanic proportions cannot convey the awe that every faithful servant of the Imperium feels before the Master. The statue is the center of Footfall in the same way that the Emperor is the center and heart of the Imperium. As construction progresses, new smaller asteroids are being attached to the statue, their surface serving as a foundation for glorious palaces and temples, and their inner tunnels as homes for the commoners and rabble. Parsimus Dwayne's design. The great Parsimus Dwayne intends to conquer the Coronis expanse and build the most grandiose structure, which will shine through the ages, praising the names of its creator and his descendants. Footfall, the palace in the stars. The glory of the great Parsimus's deeds will live on throughout the ages and his grand designs. The great Parsimus Dwayne intends to conquer. The spirit of this machine is enraged and will perform its function no more. I will see to it that the profaners responsible for its maintenance are marked for servo penance.
I won't tolerate weakness.
What's this? Oh yeah, and that's where I came out and then... Uh-huh. Now I just gotta remember where I've been. So it seems that that's where Hieronymus is. Carnival Barker's over there. And then exits. I don't see anything to pick up or anything. A small food booth. The portions look meager. A stall selling old knickknacks for everyday needs.
Victory awaits.
The wares here are shoddy looking, weapons built out of questionable parts. Well, let's go talk to Hieronymus, I guess. He's over here. That's the palace, okay. I don't want to go there yet. Not just yet. Where was the way up to Hieronymus again? Through here? One second.
It's about time.
Other side? He's on the other end, okay. More from the Ambers. Bro.
Excellence matters.
In this mishmash of devices and cables, you notice equipment from totally different eras. Some ancient, some merely old, and others hastily tossed together in more recent years.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Oh, he looks like what's it called? Commissar? Anyway. Hello there. The Emperor protects. Who are you? I am Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso, as I'm called, head of the Drusian mission and possibly the last hope for the wayward souls that inhabit this fringe of forsaken by our master. The Emperor protects, Reverend. But he protects only those who are pure of heart. Do you think yourself one of them? Be leery of this conviction of yours. Many who have risen to the pinnacle of faith have fallen from it, into the embrace of pride most degenerate. And you must be the young von Valancius. That name carries weight, and it is a burdensome one, for its reputation suggests that Theodora encumbered it with many a transgression. I wonder, will you seek to shed them, or will you carry them onward, picking them along the way like ripe fruit and savoring their sweet poison? I have heard many exalt the deeds of your intellect and call your wisdom a gift from the Emperor himself. Fools! Do they not know that the seeds of heresy sprout quickest in an enlightened mind? Understanding only erodes the will to act. How do you know who I am? The Emperor has blessed me with acute hearing, and the people did the rest. How many members of your crew do you think came to confess the moment they arrived in port? How long do you suppose it took me to piece together the truth from their words? The priest's voice is rasping and harsh, but you still manage to pick up a strange change in tone. There is something hidden beneath this shift in his speech, something that he did not consider necessary to explain. You're saying Theodora was a transgressor? A woman of great gifts, but few considered virtue to be one of them. People whispered all that power had corrupted her, made her believe that she was entitled to anything she wanted. It is known that she showed cordiality to Xenos, broke taboos, and violated dogmas. Then again, so do nearly all rogue traders. Rogue traders are the Emperor's anointed. I act at his command, as evidenced by his signature on my warrant. And did he grant it to you personally? The Emperor has entrusted his servants with the future of humanity, but people are too weak and flawed to prove themselves worthy of his trust. Only suffering can cleanse us, but we fear it and thus remain sullied. I'll do this. I'm not dogmatic, but I'll do it. I'll make the sign of the Holy Aquila, which is the eagle of the Imperium. I put my faith in the Emperor. Well, then be twice as diligent, for this sector will seize any chance to test your faith. Greetings, sister. I congratulate you on your return. Was your pilgrimage fruitful? It was, Reverend. Let it be known to you that Theodora von Valancius's ship was attacked by servants of the archenemy, who appall the heart of any righteous soul. And not all of them met a fitting end. Some fled, and more than that, their blasphemous words clearly pointed to this attack being part of a larger design. Reverend Hieronymus, I wish to join the esteemed rogue trader's crew and help protect the von Valancius dynasty from the forces of the archenemy. I am divesting myself of responsibility of guarding the Footfall Reliquary. I would add something to that if doing so weren't beneath me. That's like saying I would say something nice about her if she wasn't a peasant, kind of like a snobby tone, or it's asking for resources plus her. I'll say, she stood by my side during the assault on the ship. I could use her assistance going forward. Follow the call of your soul, sister. The Footfall Reliquary will be preserved even without your contribution, as it was in all the years preceding your arrival. I know what it is that calls you to follow the rogue trader, Sister Argenta. You seek combat, for it helps you to forget how hollow and worthless our lives truly are. It offers the illusion of meeting. Perhaps you will relinquish this illusion one day, or perhaps you will die before that day comes. Regardless, I wish you luck on your new path. But before you start on a path towards your new destiny, I have a request to make of you and your companion. Many among my flock are from the poorest, most dispossessed people on Footfall. They've brought me troubling news from Footfall's shadow quarters. In the darkest corners where the Liege's wardens do not venture, taint has taken root. Footfall is consumed by profanity, but even here, true heresy, serving the archenemy, is a rarity. The cultists who now dwell in the shadow quarters mark their abodes with a sun inscribed in blue and gold, and perform strange rituals in secret. The weak find solace in believing these reports to be rumors, but I well know that evil lurks all around us, and I wish to see retribution. I come across heresy surprisingly often these days. Indeed, dark times are upon us, and wretched souls grow even more eager to embrace heresy, both on Footfall and elsewhere. Its foul buds are coming into bloom. Troubling news is arriving from many planets. There are whispers of wicked things taking place on Kiava Gamma, and just recently a transport ship by the name of Navika, teeming with refugees, arrived on Footfall from Winterscale's realm. Their world was stricken with blasphemous sedition, and such was its severity that they had to flee to save themselves. The Liege refused to accept them, and so they headed to Foulstone, a desolate cloister of the righteous. It was wise of them not to linger in this den of vileness. Why don't you go to the Liege with this matter? I do not walk the paths pleasing to the Liege. Vladim is weak and riddled with worms on the inside. He seeks to please the Kazbalika masters, those peddlers of relics of the unholy Xenos. We will verify the rumor. With great pleasure. I almost wish for the rumor to be true. My heart yearns to battle some heretics. This is where I bid you goodbye, sister. Is there more you wish to ask me about? What are you doing here? What am I doing in this den of blasphemers, pagans, and the vilest of souls, you mean to say? Well, Footfall is the first and last stop in the Coronis expanse. It is the point of arrival for those who have just started on their path, and it is also where those who are reaching its very end return, their souls wounded and bleeding. I embrace both the former and the latter, so that they may cast an honest eye over their impurity. Furthermore, rumors from across the entire sector amass on Footfall. If I hear crewmen whispering about a reclaimed shrine world or expressing desire to carry the Emperor's light into the darkness among the stars, I help my flock in the sacred duty. Devoted trailblazers need assistance, both spiritual and material. Tools, equipment, even garments, and simple everyday items. Anything that might help pilgrims on their long journey and during the first days of the harsh frontier life is worth its weight in gold to us. May any help you offer to the effort of gathering such things be blessed. The path of true believers lead into darkness. To search for worlds that have lost his radiance, steeped in depravity. Blessed are the deeds of those who give themselves into the void and the warp in hopes that their actions might bring light into the darker reaches of the expanse and deliver a previously barren world into the Imperium's service. And all the more bitter is the realization that not all brave souls will succeed in their mission. Footfall still awaits news from the Wasteland Wayfarer, an ancient ark of a ship headed for the distant stars. Her last astropathic message was sent from beyond the Sinner's Maleficarum, and the stars have kept her fate secret since. I bear another darker duty. The expanse is filled with the tainted creations of unholy heretics. These insidious objects are a danger to the soul, but I know how to deal with them. Should you, on your travels, come upon dangerous, corrupted objects, bring them to me, and the reward for your vigilance will be even more generous. The Drusian mission has much to share with the rogue trader. Is it true that the pirate Dens Bellardo was your parishioner, and that he endowed the Drusians with donations? It is. Over the course of his life, that reprobate had burdened his soul with many vile and egregious acts. His confessions were akin to a great catechism listing humankind's immense vices and enormities. It was all the more painful for him to realize that of all the heinous acts he had committed, not one had been forgotten by the Emperor. Dens Bellardo was afraid of death and that which would await him after. He hoped to atone for his misdeeds, yearned to convince, if not the Emperor, then himself at least, that he had been more than a conscious speck of malignant mold his entire life. I hope his soul now burns as bright as his victims did. I'm sure it does. Repentance but primes us for the salvic torment of the soul. It does not supplant it. I would say everyone deserves a second chance, but then I don't know. There's some people that you try to and they just use you and they do it again and again and again. So I don't think everyone deserves a second chance, just from my experience. I have a question about faith. My sermon planted the seed of faith in the heart of another rogue trader once, Incendia Corda. Perhaps you are destined to become my second fledgling. Tell me about the Emperor. You think it is so easy to put into words his essence and splendor? The Emperor is the perfect deity that reads our hearts and grants us his light. He led humanity out of darkness and horror. He created our great home. He experienced torment and pain, which only made him stronger. That is a lesson to us all. Purity is not to be found at the bottom of the dirtiest hive or in golden palaces, but among the ranks of those who suffer. This priest speaks the truth as a wise spinner would. As we accept the Undying One's blessings, so must we accept pain, for it brings us closer to him. A spinner of the blood-spun web, people have mentioned your cult to me in their confessions. My mission does not approve of your barbaric ways, which too often crosses the line, and yet we respect the depth of your devotion to him. What is a proper way to worship him? Pray to him, destroy his enemies, and touch not their poisoned gifts. Cast aside all doubt and be vigilant against the weak souls beside you. When you see a sign of taint, burn it away without pity. Pain is good. It tears the crust of vileness from one's soul. And remember that if you see no fault in you or around you, then you are not being diligent enough in your search, or you are being too lenient on yourself, averting your eyes from the truth. The Emperor's servants, who are they? You speak of the Adeptus Ministorum? Well, these heralds of his word hold great power. Every priest, myself included, is part of its hierarchy, and the ecclesiarchy possesses the unique right to judge what is virtuous and what is malign. The Adeptus Ministorum prays and cares for the temples. It sends missions such as my own to every corner of the dominion of humanity. It fights against heresies. I imagine it is very advantageous for the ecclesiarchy to pose as a congregation of saints. Forgive me for not buying any of it. And rightly so. The ecclesiarchy harbors plenty of covetous and power-hungry recidivists. They've forgotten what it means to be a shepherd. They've grown soft and sluggish. For too long have their souls and bodies gone without suffering. Who is the enemy of the Imperium? It has three faces. The inhuman Xenos, who wish death upon us simply because we are unlike them. The pitiful subhuman mutants, abominations that wish death upon us because they envy us and are ashamed of themselves. And the arch-enemy that reigns the Immaterium, which wishes death upon us by its very nature. He forgot to mention people like me. My whole life people have told me I'm filth on the face of humanity. It's poison. It's bane. Tell me about Corda. Have you heard of Aspice Corda? Pirate, blasphemer, xenophile, and egregious apostate? Incendia is her heir, and a rarity among rogue traders. The protection of the Holy Warrant typically leads to the swift atrophy of conscience and pious dread, but not in Incendia's case. She relentlessly hunts down pirates and firebrands, and brings rebelling colonies to repentance, establishing strict discipline. The weight of her wrath is great indeed. The colonies she punishes are girded with orbital rings of heretic corpses as a warning to the survivors. As her personal confessor and guide, I find no end to the joy her triumphs and faith bring me. Since when is orchestrating massacres a sign of virtue? They aren't massacres. This is a war on apostasy and treason, and in this war, Incendia Corda is inflicting grievous wounds upon the wicked. Many would consider your remarks about the ecclesiarchy to be heretical, and many others would find them truthful. I am a preacher of a radical teaching that renounces fear. I've left the bounds of the blessed Imperium to carry his light into the darkness of the frontier. I've come to know depravity firsthand, and am now able to perceive it under any guise. I think I can afford myself a modicum of truth. Tell me about yourself. Neither my past nor my present hold any secrets, but take heed when gazing into my heart, for many dark thoughts lurk within. What is troubling your heart? Bad omens. Dark times have come. Ships from the Imperium barely appear in the Coronis expanse anymore. In Footfall's shadow quarters, taint thrives, and the people here are corrupt enough to succumb to it gladly. Rumors around the expanse say that the accursed Xenos have grown bold and are rearing their heads. They attack ships and settlements, walk under the suns of Imperium worlds like kings instead of cowering in the shadows. What next? What adversities await us if such disgrace is happening already? There's more and more talk of how poorly things are going in the expanse. Some days it seems I can't take 2 steps without hearing some peasant pontificating on the matter. Even if it's as dire as they say, the Von Valancius realm will not crumble under the blows of fate, no matter how devastating. Chin up, Lord Captain. This is no time to lose heart and lament your lot. Not only is your hope false, it is also dangerous. Among his servants, there have been people of greater integrity who sullied themselves in their attempts to rise above the rest. Tell me more about the Drusians. We are a sanctioned imperial cult, which honors Saint Drusus, scourge of the Baal Childer, bane of Xenos. Just as he once fearlessly ventured into the Calixtus sector and spearheaded its conquest, so do we travel to the untamed reaches and expand the Imperium's borders. We are pilgrims and scouts who descend into the darkness of lawless sectors, and our eyes are inured to vice and filth. Just as St. Drusus found his martyr's death and was reborn in faith, so do we search for the purifying power of trials and suffering. Read this. It contains the basics of our dogma. Perhaps you too will sense the truth in St. Drusus's words. Who is St. Drusus? He was a great saint, irrepressible and decisive. Drusus served the emperor as a simple member of the guard, who fought in the glorious Angevin crusade and rose to the rank of general. It was a grueling conquest. The Imperium invaded the Calixtus sector, back then a savage expanse populated by Xenos and heretics. Drusus delivered many defeats unto the enemies of humanity. He brought down the twisted kings of Acre Age, liberated the planet of Dre from the unholy dark demons, and had many triumphs. But then they encountered a race of unholy Xenos. Rivers of blood flowed. Golgena Angevin died in his headquarters. The crusade was about to crumble, but then we received unexpected help from a foe. The Xenos sent their assassins to the great Drusus, but the Emperor's will shielded his servant from the attack. Slain but resurrected through a miracle, Drusus asserted himself at the head of the Angevin crusade as its lord militant, and saw the Xenos extermination through to the end. He brought the Calixtus sector to accord and was proclaimed a living saint. Funny, the story of St. Drusus you know is completely different. I've heard accounts that Drusus wasn't a guardsman, but an aristocrat, and it was contenders for Golgena's position who made an attempt on his life, and he didn't rise from the dead. The assassin just decided not to kill him. Well, of course you've heard that, but just consider for a moment those whose words you are repeating right now. The one who put them into your head? Do they mean the Imperium well? Think on it. Who were you in the past? A wretched fiend, blinded by my ambitions, I served in my home planet's Adeptus Administratum division. I was a shrewd and sly bureaucrat, and I soared to great heights, to the very chair of prefect. In 30 years, I turned my home from a withered fringe colony into a prosperous world. Our wealth grew as we bloomed. But the bloom was a veneer for rot. Opulence had depraved us, and luxury had seduced us with its sordid promises. The planet's denizens no longer wished to pray or work. They only sought entertainment and dangerous philosophies. 1,000 vile heresies and 1,000,000 appalling vices bred on my world like mold on a Nutribar. In those days, I saw with my own eyes the shameless ugliness of the soul. I repented for my hubris, left my position as prefect, and became a traveling missionary. I have been one ever since. As for my world, 20 years later, the Holy Inquisition consigned it to the purifying flames. Ah, so now that you are sated with baseness, you think you can lecture people. You are quite right. I am a wicked and irredeemable scoundrel. Shall we embrace, brother? Can we move our conversation to a place more befitting of our rank? Why? For a missionary, his temple is the patch of deck beneath his feet. From where I stand, I can clearly see the life of my flock, all its bustling, blooming, and wilting. Here I can see their vile urges, futile hopes, and flashes of sincerity. If I were in the habit of locking myself in a temple, would I have made it in time to intervene in the massacre of your subjects from Kiava Gamma? No, truth resides not in golden halls, but here in the square among the people. Golden halls are home to other, far filthier things. What do you have to offer? Medkits? Onslaught instantly increases movement by 6 and grants 2 charges of the slash ability, yet reduces weapon skill, ballistic skill, and perception by 15 until next turn. All targets of taunting scream will suffer penalty to their willpower test against this ability. That'd be good for Abelard later. Plus 15 to bonus lore Imperium. A Bloodhound Staff. Devastating. The first use of an attacking navigator power per turn does not set the power on cooldown and does not count towards the attack limit per turn. The second use of this power, or use of a different attacking navigator power on the same turn, deals an additional plus 6 to all targets and 6 direct damage to the navigator. Okay. And then what do you want? You want holy gifts and jewelry. So I'll give you that and jewelry, sure. That'll get you 1,800. You're expensive though. Okay.
A new challenge for me?
So we need to do a couple things now before we go to the, what's it called? Before we go to the Liege's palace here. I'm here, I need to go up here and this way. I mean, it's really cool and expansive, but it's kind of hard to find my way around here. Thankfully I got a map, but jeez. I don't know if I've been everywhere yet or not. We need to go to the road deck because we have a thingamabobber, part of the scavenger hunt thing we have. We need to go and get that. And we also got to see about the people we saved from getting killed by that mob. Supposedly they're at the thing, so maybe we can absorb them to my ship. Get more people, more crew. Yeah, I should've got a taunting scream. I might have to reset Abelard's abilities
I won't tolerate
just
weakness.
for that. Because basically I want people to taunt and get focusing him, but I didn't get taunt because I didn't think of that beforehand. What is happening? Oh yeah, the refugees. Here you go. I need information. What happened on Kiava Gamma and how did you end up here? We told you everything back in the square. Things are rough on Kiava Gamma. Maybe there isn't even a Kiava Gamma anymore. The planet was attacked by a horde of heretics. They shouted unholy prayers and cut down people left and right. We heard everything from orbit, listening to the Voxcast after another. We realized there wasn't anyone left to save, so we thought we'd run. But then it was like our crew went mad somehow. The captain smashed his own head against a cogitator, and so did half of the officers. Everyone who survived did their best to steer the ship into the warp, and here we are. Only 3 ships made it out alive, ours being one of them. We don't know what happened to the other 2. They never made it to Footfall. Maybe they disappeared in the warp, or maybe something else happened to them. The first beast, its body wounded, crawled into a hole under the palace of an eminent lord. The second beast, its skin in ulcers, perished in an asteroid grave. The third beast, its essence cursed, is curled up in the glow of a yellow sun. So the first one is talking about the first ship that got here with these guys. Second one sounds like it got smashed in an asteroid field. And third, either it's hiding near a sun or it did a bad warp jump, exit, whatever, and landed inside a sun and is now dead. What became of the ship that you used to get here? It is the property of the von Valancius dynasty. Apologies, we couldn't save it. The ship was damaged during the escape. We're lucky it got us all the way to Footfall. It's at the far docks, but there isn't much use for it anymore. It doesn't look like it's gonna fly anywhere, and the local recollegers have already removed some of the valuable parts. You can send your people to take it apart, whatever's left, scavenge some components. You were hurling accusations at your masters. This is a sign of treason and it must be punished accordingly. Do you realize this? Please have mercy. A few idiots shouted some things, that's all. We shut them up ourselves already. It was their grief and fear talking. Please don't punish the rest of us for it. Uh-oh. There you go. Mechanicus Creations. Cargo is for storing loot that is not valuable enough for the mighty rogue trader. Vituperation directed at the Adeptus Mechanicus was likewise registered. Denial is meaningless. You are pardoned. You may board my ship and continue to serve the dynasty. Praise be to the Emperor. We've saved and pardoned. We'll do as we're told. We won't say another word.
None shall stand in my way.
I don't know what that means. What that thing I got. Mechanicus Creations or whatever. Take stems. Mechanicus Creations. Okay, so it's just... I got a full crate of Adeptus Mechanicus stuff. I mean, I'll take it. There's also supposed to be near a window. Should be the window over here was
Follow my lead.
the other thing. Near the window. There it is. The answer is close, Seeker. Remember the word realizing. Remember the place. A tunnel in the shadow of a bridge. A bridge in the shadow of a great statue. Of the great statue. Look for the cache in the old tunnel in the shadow quarters. Okay, we gotta head back there now then. Because there was some stuff that we need to go back to shadow quarters for. I don't remember everything. And then we'll go to the atrium and talk with the leash. I mean, I didn't want to punish them, but say that I was going to punish them for talking badly about superiors, because honestly, like, if you're in that situation, you're stressed out, you almost died, everyone you know is pretty much dead. Yeah, it's okay. You can talk a little bit of crap. And honestly, if you just blindly say, yes sir, no sir, I listen to you sir, most of the time that gets you in trouble. Rogue Trader, I would like to remind you about Hieronymus's request. He asked us to search for a potential cult den in the shadow quarters. Remind us? Yeah, blah blah blah. You seemed weighed down by something. What? No. Apologies, Rogue Trader. Being here on Footfall is difficult for me. It's a minor personal weakness, but I'm ready as ever to fight. It will have no effect on my combat skills. If something is troubling you, perhaps I can help. I suppose I could share it with you, but the tale will be long and we'll have to start from the beginning. I wasn't born in the Expanse. I was sent here to be a guardian of a reliquary on Footfall, but my ship became caught in a warp anomaly, and although it lasted only days, for those on board, decades had flown by in real space. When at last I arrived on Footfall, I felt like I had been erased from time. No one was waiting for me on the other side of the maw. The people who were supposed to greet me, who knew about my imminent arrival, had died. The reliquary that should have been mine to safeguard had instead been taken under the protection of Reverend Hieronymus and his brethren. They were more than up to the task. They had no need for my help. Footfall became my cage. I didn't know who I was or what purpose I had here. The way back to Calixtus seemed like another trap. Even if I were to find a ship headed there, my sector, my order, they too would have lived decades without me by that point. Whenever I'm reminded of those months spent on Footfall, it feels like I'm falling into a pit. I hope the rumors of cultists turn out to be true. I can't wait to prove with my bolter that the world and the Imperium need me. How and why did you stay on Footfall come to an end? Something must have changed. Yes, a sign, almost a portent, showed me the right path. But it's not something I can speak of like this, on the street, in this den of malice. Let us be on our way. All I'll say is that on Footfall I met Lady Theodora and joined her, and that was the end of my languishing in this place. You know Footfall better than me. Do you think the rumors of heretics are true? There was a time when I'd have to say it was likely a fabrication. One can say many things about the Casbilica mission and the other shady operators on Footfall, but even those thugs are loyal to the Emperor, and so they mercilessly exterminate outright heretics in their territory. But now, heretics have launched an open attack on a rogue trader's ship. A member of your dynasty, Kunrad Voigtver, has turned out to be one of them, and Footfall itself is sinking deeper and deeper into madness. In these times of strife, I'm willing to believe in heretics who openly perform their dark rituals and brazenly mark their dens with sacrilegious symbols. Okay.
Victory awaits!
What's that?
There's one. Rising sun symbol. It seems oddly repulsive, even sinister.
Halt! I noticed something.
There's another one.
Something of interest.
Stop. Okay, never mind. Just shows a block I thought was good.
Nothing
or
escapes
something.
my sight.
I'll lay claim to the stars. What is that?
We should deal with this.
Okay.
I tire of idleness. Let's...
This ocular implant was a worthwhile investment.
We shall prevail.
Seeing the dead know nothing, and neither do the ignorant. No sleep, no rest, only duty, only death. I do
take
what
these
I
out.
must. The Vizier, would he be proud? Am I?
Get all that stuff. And we're
Whisper
good to go
and
open
be
the door.
heard. What?
I'm always ready. It's about time.
Yep. Open the doors for us. Guide our way, twist our way. Edge of daybreak, edge of daybreak. Yeah, great. Zinch Demon. What are you doing? Okay.
Take a knee and bow before me.
Well, she did kill one. Yeah, pink horror. That's what I thought it was. Well, I think I'm gonna leave this here. Next time we'll deal with these, I guess, cults of the dawn of daybreak, edge of daybreak, guys. Thank you guys for watching.